my name's Mike Allerton. I have a very small honey producer called Aussie Mike's Bees. I run a YouTube channel for people interested in beekeeping and doing cutouts and rescuing swarms and all that sort of thing. I'm a tradesman during the day, so I'm away a lot doing that, but the beekeeping is a total obsession. I first got Varroa detected in my hives in August 2024, even though it was in the area for at least 12 months before that. Well, the biggest challenge to start with was keeping Varroa levels down with all of the feral colonies and unmanaged colonies collapsing left, right and centre. They became massive mite bombs and they all came into my colonies. Meant masses more time involved, particularly as I was avoiding chemicals and doing mechanical control. It's super labour intensive, so yeah, a lot more work. What is hyperthermia treatment? So hyperthermia means raising the core temperature. So the research going back to the 1970s with Russia and then other countries has found that the juvenile mites die in the cells from 41 degrees if you run that for a 2-hour period. Unfortunately, at 42 degrees, drone brood starts dying. And at 43 to 45 degrees, all brood starts dying. So it's a very fine line, but we can kill mites without killing bees and without affecting them long term with no chemicals. So there's no accumulation of chemicals in the wax or anything like that. I was looking far and wide for an effective mechanical method. As I said, I really didn't want to use chemicals, particularly the synthetic chemicals that are lipophilic and also prone to Varroa resistance if they're not used right. And every other country that uses synthetics has lost those synthetic chemicals eventually because the mites become resistant. So mechanical methods, that can't happen. The cost, that's the big downside of one of these things, particularly with this machine, is a high capital outlay. So there's a massive painful buy-in at about $6,000, but after that, the only cost is distilled water and paper towels. Well, they've made it super simple. The unit is super well insulated and it has a heating unit and a humidifier unit in there to bring the temperature up to that Varroa lethal temperature of 41.5 degrees. So a treatment for each 10 frames for mine or 20 frames for a bigger one, we're treating 1 frame of capped brood once in that baby bee's life. They never get heat treated again. There's no adjustments for an operator to mess up on it. So you start the machine up and put the temperature probe in. It brings it up to 35 degrees. Once you've loaded it up, it very rapidly brings it up to 41.5 degrees and holds it there for 2 hours. Treatment done. Then you can put the frames back in the box. So very little training. I've not found any downside to using the hyperthermia device on the bees. There's no death rate, there's no dead bees falling. Some of the larvae, so the uncapped brood, if you're putting frames that have uncapped brood, try to crawl out, the older ones, they die. So there is a death rate there, but if they're very young larvae and still in the wet brood food, they're fine. The great thing about the Varroa treatment, the hyperthermia treatment, is honey is completely unaffected. It doesn't go in the machine. It's not for honey at all. I can't think of any safety risk with this device. It only comes up to 41.5 degrees, so you're not going to burn yourself. There's no chemicals, so no chemical risk, and you're only dealing with distilled water. So again, no chemical risk. Risk-free treatment. So I've decided for myself to, as much as possible, go exclusively with hyperthermia, but that's a decision for every beekeeper. With the integrated pest management, there's still the tip of the pyramid, which is chemicals. Having lost all my bees last year, I don't want that to happen again. So if I have to, I will go to chemical. Well, the only data as such, without being scientific about it, is with the local Hawkesbury Club machine. We've had really good results from multiple members using it. There's a number of our members have bought their own machines. They're reporting good success without using chemicals. I've so far not needed chemicals on mine, and I'm consistently getting very low mite counts often telling me not to have to use it. There's no such thing as a silver bullet in Varroa control. You've got to be working from a multi-range, like there's a new product called No Roa on the world market. It might be years before we see it in Australia, but it's another mode of action, just like this is a mode of action. So it could be used in conjunction with chemicals if needed, because it only treats the brood. If you've got a heavy infestation on the bees, the phoretic mites, so-called phoretic mites, that might be an option to perhaps use oxalic acid vaporisation to wipe them out in one hit. I'm never averse to a high capital outlay when I can see a long-term result. So one of the things I looked at was how have they been using it in Europe over that 15-year period, and I found that people are still using the original machine that they bought 15 years ago this far down the track. So what do you do then? Cost per treatment spread over 15 years lands up being cents per treatment, compared to chemicals, for instance, where you're up for that, whatever it's going to be, 20 bucks or 50 bucks every time you do it. I'm really positive about the future of beekeeping in Australia because we've got it after everyone else. We've got tons of information to tap in on. The conscientious beekeepers will go on and be successful. They'll deal with the problem, learn from the mistakes of others around the world, and move on and better. My hopes for the Australian beekeeping industry, not just recreational but commercial, is for our Australian consumer to realise that we've got the best honey in the world by far. We've got the best food in the world too, and we need our bees to pollinate those crops. So be appreciative of the beekeeping world that supports your food in the supermarkets.